How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is EwinRacing, and welcome back to a brand new video. So my voice is kind of messed up right now, and I'm going to have a hard time speaking, but I'm going to try to go through this information as fast as possible. Now, this is old info, but like I said, my voice has been messed up, so I haven't been able to talk about this, but I want to go into it. So what do you guys let me know about this? And Joe Merrick has been talking about it on Twitter, so we're going to go through a bunch of his tweets here, because he talks about a lot of this information, and I want to discuss it a little bit, because I thought it would be worthwhile. So, it's about Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and also Generation 8 for next year, so it has to do about both those things. So, let's get started. Nintendo Europe have sent out a survey asking about views on Pokemon games, possibly ahead of Let's Go. So, one of the questions they ask here, and we're going to go through them, as they, as it's, presented here, we're going to go through it one by one. So, as about Pokemon games I've played, listing each main series generation, remakes, Go, Stadium, Battle Revolution combined, Dungeon, Rangers, and free-to-play games. Then ask how recently I've played Gen 6 and Gen 7 games, or Go. Then this one with the answers that speaks to me. So, here it is. In general, how interested are you in Pokemon? And then, please select the statement that fits you best. I've never really paid attention to Pokemon, and I know almost nothing about it. I've never really been excited by Pokemon, but I know roughly what it is about. I used to enjoy Pokemon more, but these days, I've moved on to other things. I quite enjoy Pokemon, and I would probably be interested to experience more. I love all things Pokemon, I love everything there is to know about it. So, I think I'd end up, probably that one as well. I don't know everything about every single aspect of Pokemon, but, I'm in the same category right there, so definitely. Then the next one is, I could be reading too much into it, but they're asking about this though. Perhaps they're concerned about the divisive nature of Let's Go. Below are some aspects of the Pokemon Adventure games on portable Nintendo systems. Which of these do you really enjoy? You may pick as many as you like. Training a Pokemon to see how they become stronger or evolve into new forms. Becoming friends with your Pokemon. Challenging your friend to see who's the better trainer. Caring for your Pokemon, giving them sweets, and keeping them happy. Going on a journey to explore a fantasy world and discover the Pokemon who live there. Building a strong Pokemon team and finding the right strategy to become the best trainer. Customizing your character's clothes for an individual look. Using special abilities of Pokemon outside of battle, like pushing boulders, surfing, or flying. Finding your favorite among all the Pokemon to build a unique team that you like. Collecting as many Pokemon as possible by catching and trading them. Battling turn by turn and choosing how my Pokemon attacks. Becoming an expert and learning everything there is to know about Pokemon. None of these. So, here's the thing, right? These questions have to probably do with, I guess, both the Let's Go games and ahead of the Let's Go games and, the Gen 8 games. Because the thing is, a lot of these questions here, I've seen people discuss maybe the possibility of us getting actual wild battles in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Because here's the thing, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are actually not done yet. The games have not been finished yet. They're still being worked on. So there is changes that are going to be happening to those games. And there could be the possibility of added, battles against actual wild encounters. So that is a possibility, but it's very unlikely because we're not too far off from the release month, at this point, what are we, 5 months away, and it would be really weird if they decide to just, kind of quickly add that in as a side thing if enough people show interest in that. But this is good questions right here. I would probably put my finger on all of these, yes, 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 because everything that's listed here, this is Pokemon. Right? This is Pokemon. Pokemon, for me, doesn't really work when one of these is missing, right? Collecting as many Pokemon as possible by catching and trading them. That's an essential Pokemon feature. It's an essential thing for Pokemon, right? If you remove becoming friends with your Pokemon, well, that's also an essential thing of Pokemon, right? You want to be attached to the Pokemon you catch, and you want them to be your friend, and etc. Training your Pokemon to see how they become stronger or evolve into new forms. That's an essential part of Pokemon. Again, all these things are essential to what a Pokemon game is, and hence why I don't enjoy stuff like Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go doesn't have majority of the stuff here. I mean, now it's been added, but it's been 2 years since that shit came out, and it took them way too long, and even when they finally released it, it was poorly executed, and they had to, slowly give it to, people of higher levels and stuff like that, but it's besides the point. My point is that these things are essential for Pokemon, except the customizing your character's clothes for an individual look. That's something that, has become a thing over the last few years. Since, X and Y days, that's become a thing. Prior to that, we didn't really have the ability to customize our characters, and it wasn't the end of the world, right? We still enjoyed Pokemon as much as we do today, and it wasn't really a big deal, right? Now, caring for Pokemon, giving them sweets, and keeping them happy is, I guess, a part of Pokemon as well. It really is. I mean, increasing happiness on Pokemon, stuff like that. But the thing is, I think this more applies to Pokemon Go, because in Pokemon Go, you throw, candy and shit to your Pokemon. Now, here's the thing, right? Building a strong team and finding the right strategy to become the best trainer. makes sense, right? You know, that's a big part of the post-game for Pokemon. It's the only reason Pokemon games are still, like, you know, playable past finishing the story is that you want to build a team that's, like, you know, going to be useful against other people, which then, you know, fits in together with, you know, challenging your friends to see who's the better, you know, trainer. Not just your friends, but also people online. You know, that's the whole point of it. Battling turn by turn and choosing how my Pokemon attack, that's an essential part of Pokemon. Hence why I don't think Pokemon Go is a proper Pokemon game. Because of the fact that it lacked those, I mean, at the time, right? Now it's more fixed, but it still lacks a lot of things, right? And hence why I never really enjoyed that game. I mean, I'm not sure if I should even call it a game, but I guess at this point, it has reached the point of actually being able to be called properly a game, and actually, you know, I see it as a proper game at this point. And what I feel like they're doing with this is, they want to gauge how many people actually, you know, want these things in Pokemon, because the thing that worries me, right, and the reason why I wasn't too happy about Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee removing some features is because I don't want that to become the norm. I don't want them to remove features and give us less in return. Essentially, that's my worry. But the thing is, we still have Generation 8. That's still what I'm the most hyped about. And we already know that, you know, some people just don't want to even talk about Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee because they're excited about just Gen 8 and don't give a shit about Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. The thing for me is, I still want to play Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee and give them a fair shot, right? I want to give them a fair shot, but I don't want to be a blind fan. Because that's what I think is the biggest issue, is when people just blindly believe anything that's thrown their way. I still think Game Freak are trying to make, like, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee the best possible games they possibly can. Like, you know, I think they're trying their best to make them as good as possible and as enjoyable as possible for people who aren't, you know, into this kind of more casual version of Pokemon. But I feel like, you know, that's why also they announced, because I think they saw it coming, right? I think they knew what the response was going to be if they didn't announce Gen 8 for next year, because they probably knew, okay, the hardcore ones, the ones that have been following our games for the last, you know, however many years, that have been buying all of the iterations of the, you know, main series games, they're not going to be too happy if we tell them that, hey, guess what? You're not going to be receiving, you know, battling, you know, wild Pokemon. You're not going to be able to have Pokemon past Gen 1, you know, not counting, you know, the Alola forms. You're not going to have any of these things. You're just going to be totally, you know, just having to play through Kanto again, minus a bunch of features that you have in current generations of Pokemon, aka, you know, Gen 7 and stuff. So, you know, they probably knew there was going to be a risk with that, and they decided, okay, let's just announce we have another game next year. A game that's going to be the thing that they want the most, but this thing is just a way for us to kind of, like, you know, bring in as many people as possible into the franchise, because Pokemon's revenue, I think, was down a bit, which is really stupid, because it's still making, like hella money, though. Like, Pokemon still makes, like, loads of money, and the revenue was just down a little bit. But the thing is, the only reason that the revenue was even up that high the previous year was because of Pokemon Go. Like, I think it was, like, I don't know the exact numbers, but the revenue and stuff was, like, you know, it dropped by like 20%. But the thing is, though, the only reason that revenue was up so high was because of Pokemon Go coming out, the, you know, like the year prior and having so much, like, you know, influence. So using the arguments of theirs, like, you know, oh, you know, or using people's arguments that I've seen is like, you know, they're losing money, so they got to make, you know, make more. The thing is, they were already, you know, making way more than in the past before Pokemon Go. They were already making way past that point, and now they saw a dip in it. Of course you'd seen a dip in it, because, like, you know, I mean, just think about it logically, you know, the Pokemon Go game has been out for a long time now. Not as many people play it anymore, you know what I mean? There's generally, you know, always a drop in a game's player base, you know, after a while, especially Pokemon Go being up for, like, what, 2 years? Like, that's enough time for a game to definitely, you know, dip in player base. But hey, the player base is actually going up now because of Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and, you know, because of a bunch of new updates and trading and all these stuff, you know, like, basically the player base is going up again, so they're definitely making the money still, and they're making back all that lost, like, 20% revenue, whatever the hell they lost, they're still making that back. And now what they want to do with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is bring those people who play Pokemon Go in, because, you know, as far as I've seen, I'm going to be honest, I think even Joe can agree with this, like, there are some really, really, really dense people, no offense, some really dense people within the Pokemon Go community that get angry at people like, you know, Joe, and, like, you know, angry at SURVERY, and angry at, like, you know, several different places like Pokeshopper, you know, Pokejungle. They get angry at them when, you know, when they just, like, report on something because, oh, they're fake news, but these Pokemon Go sites are right. They actually think that stuff like Generation 8 and 4 Pokemon are fake. They think Darkrai is fake. And things like that get the rest of us who do know about all these Pokemon from all the way from Gen 1 all the way up to Gen 7 makes us a bit worried when those people are kind of joining in, you know, on the console market. And if they're going to be catering to that larger demographic and, you know, those people that are just kind of coming from, you know, Pokemon Go, it worries us that we're going to get a game that lacks a lot of things like, right? And also what this kind of puts in our minds is Game Freak worried about their own game? Do they think their own game's not going to be good enough? Is that a thing? Like, you know, it's a bit, you know, it's a bit of a weird situation. But I could be reading too much into this. But why are they asking about this though? Perhaps they're concerned at the divisive nature of Let's Go. So again, he's pointing out is like, you know, are they worried? You know, like he says he may be reading too much into it. And again, I could be also reading too much into it. But he says right here, you know, are they really concerned about this, the kind of position that Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are in right now, where like the hardcore fans that, you know, want to have like, you know, the competitive aspects, right, the VGC and all that stuff, right, are they going to be, you know, a bit more worried about this game, and like, are they not going to be less likely to buy it and stick around? Because here's the thing, right, here's what Pokemon need to realize. And the thing is, I think they do know this, and I think that's why they announced Gen 8, guys. And this is just from me to you guys, as the loyal fans that have been stuck around with Pokemon and loving this franchise for a long time. Think about this, right? They know that the people who buy the Let's Go games, right, they're going to be around, only a few of them are going to stick around past Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee for the next generation. And here's the thing, right, we are still going to be there. We're going to wait for next year, and we're going to be there to buy those games. And they know that we are the most important ones, because the thing is, they can't play the nostalgia card with the you know, these kind of casual fans. They can't play that all the time, right? You can release Pokemon Go, right? You released it, cool. It was a huge success. Sure. You released Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Sure, they sell a lot, right? But you can't recreate that several times over and just like keep remaking Kanto a million times every single year just to get more money. You know what I mean? They know that won't work, so they have to make new generations. And who will make them the money then? Well, you, me, and all the, you know, loyal fans who joined in through Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. All the loyal fans who've stuck around since Gen 7, Gen 6, Gen 5, Gen 4, Gen 3, etc. You know what I mean? We will still be there. But the casuals ones that just came around for one single game or just stuck around for Pokemon Go, they're going to be just stuck where they were, or they're just going to leave and just disappear, right? And they know this. They clearly know this. But they're just worried about how we're going to feel about the Let's Go games coming into it. They're worried about how you and I, the loyal fans, are going to be, you know, feeling about it. And that's what I get out of this. Now, you know, Joe can be seeing it a different way. I could be seeing it a different way. You know, it all is just, you know, in the eye of the beholder. Like, it basically, the way you see it depends on the person. I don't know. That's how I see these questions. It's a way of them just checking, are we cool with these games? Because guess what? We're gonna get the things, every single feature right here, every single thing right here is gonna be in the next year's game, because they know this is the things that we want from Pokemon. They know this is the Pokemon like experience, but they also know that, you know, for these Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee games, they've removed a few of these features, and the reason for that is so that they can introduce this franchise, right, in a slow way to these, you know, Pokemon Go players, these people who haven't been around, you know, throughout all the generations and been like, you know, following the franchise. They know they can't do the same thing with these guys and just like easily just give them Generation 8 and be like, hey, play this, because they're going to be confused. They're not going to know all the Pokemon they're looking at and all that stuff. So I think that Let's Go games are going to be a side thing that just kind of is a way to introduce like the casual people into Pokemon slowly and show them new Pokemon, etc. And that's the way this is going to work. I do hope Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are going to add like updates to the game, like every few months or so, like updates with like, you know, new generations of Pokemon. The same way Pokemon Go works, right? Add in new generations of Pokemon into the game so people have more things to do in them, and so they can get introduced to those Pokemon all the way leading up to the release of Pokemon Generation 8 on the Switch in 2019. It'd be a smart way to do things. You slowly introduce people, and then they're going to be like, oh shit, brand new Pokemon game, tons of features. They're going to be super excited to buy it, right? That's the way I see it. I could be wrong, but Joe did tweet a few more things, and that is also, let's see, he also does talk about here about like them announcing Generation 8. Needless to say, I'm so glad that Game Freak announced Gen 8. I daren't think about the parallel timeline where they didn't, and the mess the internet would be. I disagree. If people didn't know about Gen 8, they would be raging at the reboot and casualization of the series. By doing it this way, more core players are inclined to try it, as they know something more traditional is on its way. You overestimate people, there would be a lot of rage. And I agree, there would be a lot of rage. I would be outraged first. I would be on the the hate train if if we didn't get a confirmation for next year being Generation 4, sorry, Generation 8. Jeez, I'm messing up my dates now. But I mean, I would be pretty angry because I'll be like, okay, I mean, if they didn't give us any info, right? Let's hypothetically say we didn't know 2019 was going to be Gen 8. We didn't know anything. They didn't tell us jack shit. We didn't know anything about Generation 8. And they just told us we're getting Let's Go Peach and Let's Go Eevee, and this is the new Switch games, right? If we heard about this and they were the main core series games, I think I would be pissed off. I think most people would be pissed off, including Joe. I think most people would be pretty angry. Most, if not all, people would be angry. But since we already know now, and they announced to us that we're getting Gen 8 next year, we're not as angry. We're not as worried. We're not like as inclined to hate this stuff. And that's why I'm willing, and I like Joe says, that's why most of the hardcore fan base and the more loyal fans that have been around for a long time and are going to stick around for a long time, we're more inclined to actually buy Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go even play them. So I want to just talk a little bit about this. And then also, there was some talk about here about like some translation errors. The translation going around of TPC or the Pokemon Company asking fans to trust them with Let's Go is erroneous. I don't know what the word is, but the translation is more of them assuring fans that the core aspects of the game are still there. With the article saying that the Pokemon Company is asking people to trust them, it gives a negative connotation and implies that there is something wrong with Let's Go and they're trying to cover their asses. This is not the case. So I will just be on Joe's side here in this situation, and okay, sure, they're just reassuring fans that hey, these games are gonna be they're gonna be good. Don't worry. The core aspects of the game are still there. Don't worry about it. We're not going to be removing anything. We're not going to be ruining your experience. We're going to make it as good as possible. Don't be worried. So I'm on board for that. I'm fine with that, guys. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about this. How do you feel about this? And I'm sorry for going on a rant here. I haven't done a video in a long time, and my throat is killing me right now. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all the next time. Have a freaking great day, guys. And bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.